Every day something brand new. I'm in love with your body. Why, 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 why? Hi guys, welcome to Bushcraft Heroes. I'm Bo. Today we're going to be showing you how to make a collar for your axe, just like this one.
So to get this job done, guys, we're going to need some tools and some bits and pieces. So we're just going to quickly run through everything you need to make your own Bushcraft axe collar. So you're going to first off need an axe, a nice piece of leather to make the collar from, a piece of paper to trace out the shape, a leather punch, a ruler for marking and cutting your lines, a sharp knife for cutting your lines, a Sharpie for darkening the edge of the leather, a cup with water to soak the leather in, some leather lace or paracord for wrapping up the back, some snow seal to protect the wood underneath the leather, and a heat gun to melt that snow seal into the axe. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to snow seal the axe. If you're making a collar for your axe to protect it, I can imagine that you're looking to increase the longevity of your axe, so we really recommend this step, although it's up to you whether you do it.
So I'm just going to work it into this top piece here where, moisture's going to and I'm going to go quite thick with it, because once I start using the heat gun, it will start to seep into all of these gaps, and then I'll rub it down with a cloth afterwards to sort of give it a cleaner look, cleaner finish. But that's probably good for now. Take your time, get it right in there, make sure you don't miss any spots. I mean, it looks messy and it is a little bit, but it's kind of satisfying knowing that you're preserving your axe in a way. It's a nice feeling. So I'm just going to work in increments here, leave that there, get it heated, and we'll keep working down. Sort of leave myself a spot where I know I've come to, and then I'm going to get the heat gun going. So I'm going to want to angle the axe so that any of this melting beeswax and linseed oil mixture is just seeping right up. So I'm not going too close with the heat because I don't want to burn the wood or I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just going to take it slowly, let it seep into where it wants to, and then take any excess away. Quite hot, so just take it steady, don't burn yourself.
This stuff smells so good.
Don't wear your Sunday best when you're doing this, because you're gonna get wax kind of a bit everywhere. You have been warned.
So once you've finished this process, guys, you're just going to keep working your way down the axe, applying the mixture and then heating it up and then buffing it off, and just keep going until you get to the end of the axe. So to start making the collar, first thing you're going to need is your piece of leather. You can use any thick-ish leather for this. So Bo's going to walk you through exactly how to measure everything up.
So we had an idea doing it about 3.5 inches. So that is roughly 9 centimeters.
Once you've measured out your piece of leather, stick your ruler down on it and get a nice sharp knife and just cut down through the leather so you've got a nice rectangular piece ready to apply to your axe.
So what I'm going to do now is take my GSI cup that's got some water in it, and I'm going to put this piece down inside, and I put it down this way so that it actually holds itself in there. And we're going to leave that soaking just while we make our template for the cutting. I'm just going to take a piece of paper and wrap it round the axe, holding it tight, try not to rip it, and then I'm going to find where my edging is, and just mark that out.
So you're just pushing your finger down.
So I'm just pushing my finger down onto the edge, like that, making a slight indent, and then I'm left with
Once you've done this step, you can cut down your piece of paper to the height that you want the collar to be. In our case, it's 3.5 inches. And then cut the piece of paper to the right size. Then you're going to want to use the marks we made earlier to remove the excess paper from the template. And then we're going to mark the center point for our piece of paper.
Center point. I'm going to take it out. It's much more workable now. You can see lots of movement. We're going to get rid of as much moisture as we can.
Then we're going to mark the center point on our leather. Then we can match up the paper template to the leather.
So line up your two centers, bang it on.
And then trace around the paper edge onto the leather with a knife, leaving a small indent.
So now careful. No need to rush here. Alright, so at this point we're just doing a little dry test, or a wet test.
The idea here is to start working the leather into the right position and the right shape, because it's still pliable. Just keep tweaking it, pushing it, molding it into the right position, and then we can start making the holes to lace up the back. Our piece of leather wasn't quite square, so Bo's just going to trim up the bottom edge here. How satisfying is that? So I'm just going to mark out by eye 7 holes.
Here's Matty now, he's handed me over the camera.
Not too bad, a little bit out, but luckily the leather will change.
So I'm going to use this hole here that is ever so slightly smaller than what we're using as our lace, so that we can stretch it ourselves with I'll use a pen probably, or a pencil, just to stretch out.
So take the leather punch and punch out all the holes that you've just marked up. Once that's done, you're going to take a pencil and just push into the leather to stretch the holes out a little bit, because once we start pulling on the leather lashing, it's going to all cinch up tight and we don't want the holes to be too big. Now you can take your Sharpie or ink and darken the edge around the leather, just to give it that nice finish once it's all put together.
So what I'm doing here to get it through the holes easier is I'm just taking the lace and just putting a little point on it so that it threads easier.
So, important to note, depending on how many crosses you want, if you want to put 2 crosses in the back, you'd make 5 holes. If you want to put 3 crosses of leather in the back, you'd make 7 holes on each side. So you need an extra hole to be able to pull it through onto the front, so you can tie it off.
There she blows. Now I'm going to just work it all up into the sort of resting place that you want it. So I'm actually using my Leatherman right now. It's looking pretty good though.
After it's all cinched up at the back, you can use a tool or your fingers to just keep working the leather into place and tightening up any gaps.
For now we're just going to trim that about there, so we've got something to tighten it up with tomorrow in the morning, and we'll let that dry, and then we'll waterproof it, and I think we're on to a winner there. Thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please hit us up with a like or a comment if you want to see how we made the waterproofing for leathers, and what we did earlier for the handle of this particular axe, let us know and we'll get on that as soon as we can. Take it easy and we'll see you next time.